5-day, sure. Yeah. Let's check the emails after things get going here. All right, cool. We don't want anybody being left outside. All right, good morning. Well, markets continue to push higher here. And it was certain, I don't know, we'll see if it pushes right up to new all-time highs, but that was the scenario I was hoping wouldn't happen. Doesn't always follow the game plan, but we shall see. And the reason I didn't want that to happen was it just creates, this void here and opens up the door to a larger pullback or just choppy price action for a while the market digests the move up. We'll see how today plays out. Obviously, it's pushing up above. The futures are pushing up above this prior pivot. And it's interesting over the weekend. Well, these formed differently because this is trading 24 hours. But looking at the spiders, they had already pushed up above the second pivot, already had pushed up above the first one. And it was already on Friday night up above the second one. So now we yesterday just kind of tweaked a little peekaboo up above that prior pivot high and pushing higher here this morning. And some profit taking going on here early on, really not too much of a big deal. And it's pulled back rather deep on the 5-minute, but on the hourly, it's just a stall in momentum. So we'll see if buyers want to step up. I guess they really should step up right around this area here where they pulled back to. This little congestion here. And a second there. Notice the wide range bar coming out of the that little consolidation. So one of the things we talked about, I think it was Abdul that was asking about 1, 2, 3s yesterday for gap trades, which are very doable. But as you can see, they can happen at any time of the day or night because it's a concept. Just a 1, 2, 3 isn't a strategy. It's not a trading plan. It's an event that we put in the context of what preceded it. And one of the most bullish ways is coming out of a consolidation. This got rejected, and then a wide range bar. And it's not an inside bar, but it's a narrow bodied bar, long slowing momentum. And the takeaway is that it should go up based on that. And it did. Now it's stalled and coming in a little bit. It's only a 5-minute chart. So, and pulling back here, no real damage done. Looking at the spiders, sometimes they look a little different. I like to see about where they're gapping. So they were at 450. So S&P is hitting 4,500. It's going to be a big sticking point. And so it had gotten right up to about here. There's overlapping bars and pulling back under 449. Still gapping up, but gapping up into this congestion right up there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little more selling, especially after a few days up. Yesterday turned out to be a schizo move, meaning, the gap down was relatively significant, gapping down under this consolidation. And it didn't quite make it to the gap fill down here. So that part of it was bullish. This part of it was bearish. And it just ripped right up into the gap fill where, theoretically, just based on historical patterns, this would have tried to roll back over to make the higher low, but no, it did the most bullish thing. It just went sideways. When it did dip, it came back up again and, went a little higher before it just kind of died there, chopping around. And so again, 449, it's gapping up. We have an end of day base, right? One of the things that we look for with gaps is what was it doing the prior day? Meaning, did it gap up out of a resting period? Or did it gap up out of, we could have had a resting period earlier in the day or in the middle of the day, and it ran up the latter part of the day, and then it gaps up. So that type of gap from a rally tends to lead to a greater probability of pullbacks versus this one gapping from a consolidation. It could pull back into that, but there's going to be buyers here. And it gives us a pretty obvious line in the sand that, just based on these smaller intraday timeframes, it shouldn't go back down below it. If it does, we shift our bias on a short-term basis to a bearish one, since it violated this major support. And we just see how far down it goes. All right, Qs. Bringing up the rear. That was one of the ideas over the weekend, that underperformed, but could bring up the rear, and it certainly did in a big way. So a wide range bar right into this pivot high here. And 375-ish. It got right up into the area of that pivot high and before it started backing off. 74. Still holding a gap. So really not too bad. Just based on the move up, yesterday's wide range bar, S&P Qs being an area of their respective resistance area, it's probably going to get a little bit of a resting period here today. Ideally, it does that, because if it just continues to move higher, there's the probability of a sloppy corrective period is likely to move from there. Trying to get these internals. Had a bit of an issue this morning with the E-signal having a hissy fit. Getting this thing to isn't that interesting? This flipped down. Might have to look at the data, but anyway, I would have thought this would have been pushed up toward 200 after yesterday, going up. Maybe because it gapped down and then things were playing catch up, because on an up day like that, this breadth should have been up here. But, yesterday started off with an NYSE tick down below minus 1,000. And historically, that doesn't lead to a rally day. And look, we just have historical norms to go on to give us a bias. And it doesn't lead to rally days like this when you get an opening tick of under minus 1,000. Anyway, so sentiment picked up toward the bearish level, and if this pegs up here, maybe a little bit more rally. And as I said, if today holds the gap and continues higher, these internals will push up into that bearish area, and historically, we know it's going to lead to some kind of a correction. But that's okay. Futures, right up near the pivot. Momentum is slowing. Russell didn't really make any progress yesterday to get out of this congestion, but it just continues to, it's getting a little tighter now. Now, as this was making the higher lows that we talked about yesterday and the lower highs, now it's hanging up here, staying up at the top of the wide range bar. Look at the candle bodies. That's the idea that we talk about in the MTS. It's like after a wide range bar, you can get tails on either side. There's, even the tails to the bottom, which are, well, this is a breakout type of a continuation failure. This is a dip, obviously, and it came back up. So sellers taking advantage up here, buyers taking advantage of the dip. Candle bodies stay in the upper half to upper third, which tells us that the bigger picture, the wide range bar coming out of this consolidation is still intact. And we need to see something here to signal a move above. But anyway, it's staying up in this area at resistance. And so far, that's bullish price action. Take a look at the, there we go. And so it gapped down and didn't make much headwind yesterday, but sloppy. Now, the Dow underperformed yesterday, but it outperformed on the way up, and it's right up there near the old all-time highs. And so a little pullback from there. It was normal. And so we see everything is near resistance. And so as buyers and sellers kind of battle it out, sellers here at resistance, those wanting to buy, it's going to go higher. That typically results in what we call a frog in a blender day, meaning unless you're nimble or maybe doing some spread, anything there's nothing going to expire today, but if it was, it would probably be a no-brainer for spreads, but it may be an SOH day where things don't really move all that much. Waiting for this to fill in. Maybe it's not. Well, it depends on what they do today. Do spreads for tomorrow. I didn't look at the premium, but how far away is it? So with the idea of a frog in a blender day, meaning prices are going to chop around, not go too far. Just remembering yesterday's numbers, something to the downside that's far enough away that maybe could evaporate. So there was premium down here yesterday. No brainer, I said. It was a no brainer. And so now, if there is premium, let's say at 4,400, 4,420. And it's gapping up here, should be fine. We know where the SPY is gapping up to and backing up from. It's near resistance. So it's got a gap fill as protection. It's got yesterday's low as protection and the day before there. And then this gap fill and the 50-day moving average. I'd say it's close to a no-brainer. Being down here with that many lines of protection, as I like to call them, till you get to what might be your kill zone, you being the killed. Right? 45, 60. I don't know this market, 60. Yeah, okay. It ain't going up there today. It's not going up there today. Right? Not unless, I don't know, they turn over the presidential election, and that's a little bit of a joke there. I know that's not going to happen, but yeah, I didn't think it's going up there today. But yeah, for expiration tomorrow. Yeah. I think just the premium and the downside I think makes that side the no-brainer. Yeah, well, it depends on how today shapes up, whether tomorrow has the possibility for new all-time highs. I mean, if this doesn't back off at all, and it pushes up toward that this area, maybe it could gap up and get up there tomorrow. I don't know. Let's deal with today. All right. VIX down here, it's at a low level where it's turned. So we know that, it could go a bit lower, but we know where, the way markets went up, we know that there's risk on the long side. It could happen any day. And there's no evidence of it happening right now, but you never know. You never know. I showed, if I can show this chart, where was it? I showed this chart over the weekend. Maybe it's not here. No, these different pages. I'll find it. Maybe we'll show it tomorrow. Is it here? No time to be searching for this right now. But something I showed over the weekend in the newsletter. All right. So transports look fantastic. Little to nothing to the left there. Cleared this pivot on the weekly. We've got airlines reporting earnings tomorrow, I think. I forget, have to look, but I think it's tomorrow. Something to keep in mind as far as that goes. Others are somewhat extended. So that's could stall, especially ahead of those earnings. Bitcoin hanging up there. It just doesn't want to give it up. And we saw, well, that gave back yesterday, but coin just ripped up at this pivot high in the 300 number. So no, it's up at 305. That could be a gap and crap. That's kind of a classic gap and crap scenario. I think it would have made it better if it was up at 310. But I don't know if this was expiring today, that would be a good 0 DTA call spread. But even with the gap, maybe if it fails in the first 10 minutes or so, it's an idea. All right. What else? Interest rates, 10-year, but that's a 30-year perking up a little bit. That, the market's up, but the market might not like that. And the 10-year is up here. Looks like it might break out and push up to these higher levels. So something to keep in mind as far as the market, what the market might not like. These interest rates are going up. Bitcoin's had this heck of a run there. Transports earnings and having made a move. So there's a lot of reasons to think that today will not be another rally day. So, all right, all yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, do you remember I've been adjusting, John, a couple of open trades here. We have a lot of positive gaps in our favor today. So remember I said yesterday, spiders in the green room? I said target 450. I said that's a bullish close, it's extended, but it's just powering higher with a beautiful 15. And it was actually gapping right there to that 450 target. But yeah, the longer you get on board, something is moving, the harder. So yeah, all our opens look good. We do have an open Facebook. This was in the weekend letter. Red bar ignored, bottoming pattern. So we have a beautiful put spread on that. We have a half lot of Amazon. I see it gapping down here a little bit. I could tighten the stop. Greg mentioned Bitcoin today. Supposedly the new futures ETF is coming out. Does anybody know the symbol for that by chance? And okay. Thanks. Yeah. Craig mentioned coin. We were looking at it this day right here. Didn't pull the trigger, but I think it's going to be sell the news. When something runs so far into a known news event. Actually, talking about coin, that's exact. Do you remember me talking, folks, Look at this IPO, this far left bar. This is a weekly chart. And I was saying that every single person I was talking to, from the Uber driver to your friends at the bar, was talking about coin. And I said, you know what, folks, stay away from it. I said, that's usually a top. And wow, look at that first week. That was a top. So I surely wouldn't be chasing Bitcoin then. Raul asks about MGM 123. It's yes, it is a 123. Not, you know, not a great quality one, but it has to, if it gets over this red bar, then yes. Because then it'll be a red bar ignored. In fact, we had that. It's an open trade. Well, it's a pending trade for that very reason. If it can get over that red bar, we have a put spread. So if you have any questions of opens, just ask me. All right, Cavill having a nice gap breakout here. Had a nice end of day breakout and run. We'll come back to that. This hood, I don't know why this hood can't get any traction. Maybe set an alarm at 4160. Myrna, nice pre-market here. Gapping over these highs. That's a beautiful pre-market right there. I'm going to put that in a window. Myrna. Couple earnings here. Zion. Sloppy consolidation, and it's gapping under it now. But hey, tomorrow, folks, MT Live, we're talking about objective use of moving averages. And so look at this, beautiful 200, the 20 and the 50 curled. That's a nice moving average chart, but it's gapping under that now. So well, actually, let me put it back on McGraw. McGraw, if there's any juice, that's a call spread candidate. This is earnings. I don't like the way it trades and like volume. Pack W. It shows it down $2, but I don't see any gap, but it's actually bullish daily, weekly. Ever, I see only one print down here, but that's in a bearish downtrend. We'll come back to you. ELS, I can't see where it's printing, but earnings, this will be a continuation pattern higher. FitB, just in a trading range, you know, doing nothing, but 30-minute high looks higher. Oh, so many of these earnings, I'm seeing no prints pre-market. I don't like this 200 right here, but it is a reverse head and shoulders. Well, actually a bullish weekly monthly. We'll come back to you. Bravo Kilo down $55. So that's a bearish gap. Diego RLX. For continuation. Yeah, maybe day trade. You know, it's up 2 bars, far from the 20, so it's not a swing. But it's a nice controlled 15-minute chart. So day trade, sure. SI gapping down, bearish gap under all of this. So that could be a day trade short idea or call spread. We'll come back to you. Stolled had a bearish gap yesterday that got negated. Now it's gapping up. That's sloppy. That's steel. Sloppy. Hexel, sloppy. Don't like the way it trades. Look at this. Aber pharmaceutical. That's why we don't like trading pharmaceuticals. You went to bed, it was $40. You wake up, it's 11. That is some pain right there. SYF, another bank, slopping around in a trading range. SNV, I don't see where it's gapping, but over the highs. over the highs, a little sloppy, but looks higher, daily, weekly. SI, we could look at SBNY. It's getting extended. Man, gapping down 104. It trades sloppily, but that could be a call spread candidate if there's any juice. KSU is a railroad gapping down after a big run, gapping under yesterday's low. That could be a day trade short or a call spread. J&J, little bottoming pattern here. Well, I'm not seeing many tier ones. Tier ones they're ready to go. I'll give you an example of what a tier one was yesterday. Billy Bob. Look at this, a gap from a bull flag, bullish pre-market, gapped up, buy setup, look to the left, nothing over here. That was a tier one yesterday. So we got a couple open dollar gain right now. BK gap. We looked at this. Travelers. What? It's in a trading range. Mess. Total mess. Papa Mike. It's a mess. See, what I'm doing is just deleting things that I don't even think are going to set up in the first 30 minutes. Scott, I do like the weekly. It's just too extended for my strike zone on the daily. Procter and Gamble gapping down. Wow, that's a bearish gap on PG. I'll put that in a window to see how, if it can bounce here. If the 30-minute high, that would be a nice put spread for Friday. Merck here I have in a window. Look at Merck gapping up here. Okay, so this actually is the best looking gapper I've seen so far. Right? Fluid moves down. Didn't quite fill it, but you got the 20 and the 50, and it's gapping over a red bar. So that looks good so far. The best gapper I've seen. But it needs to hold. ONB, sloppy, you're gone. Martin, sloppy, you're gone. IRDM. This is what we call a failed sell setup. Went up, triggered, closed with a bullish green bar. You got a price void. Now it's gapping over it. It's a 30-minute high. That actually looks higher. Halliburton too extended for me. Although, look at the monthly. That's a nice bottom on the monthly, but multiple time frames. It's climactic on the daily and weekly. So the only way you can trade that is either it's a day trade or longer term with a big old stop. That's the only way. I just noticed Roku was down. We had a beautiful put spread on this yesterday, and we took our money into strength. But this would be a fantastic 1, 2, 3 if we get an inside bar today in the upper third. And then tomorrow we buy over the highs. And I think target 360. 360 to all the way to the 200. That's an amazing wide range breakout after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullish bars. Diego Baba. Yeah, 30-minute high. Somebody mentioned this yesterday, and I just said that I liked, wow, ticked over 1,000. I said that I like Billy Bob better, but 30-minute high looks higher. Good target, I don't know, 175, 180. All right, CNI, folks. We earnings are today. We're long stock, so I had tightened the stop. I'll keep an eye on that so we can sell in strength. Myrna's not bad at all as a gap trade too. Let's keep an eye on Myrna. I like this 2-bar reversal price forward. Um, path. Where the short stock. So the low alarm is going on.